make sure that your family's kind of continue the conversation of, okay, how is your family protected and how are you planning? So it's more of a legacy conversation. We're going to talk about estate planning, succession, trusts, and family protection and considerations. So a lot of people probably aren't familiar with this, but 70% of businesses do not survive the second generation. So most businesses will not work, and a lot of people who own businesses, and I've had this conversation hundreds of times with business owners, when I say, hey, what's the plan for the business? They say, oh, my kids are going to take it over, or, you know, if something happened to me, the family will just run it, because that's just our utopian idea that it's a family business. But the reality is it's really hard to replicate. It's hard for people to continue to make it work at the next generation. And it gets really, really hard to make it work when it's not planned. So if something happens to the business owner unexpectedly, it's even more unlikely that the business is going to continue on when there's not a plan in place. And, you know, there's a lot of stories of people we've met that it was a son that took over a business that he was not expecting to take over, you know, and had to sell it or usher it out. So, and a lot of times it's not a revenue thing, it's a market thing. You know, imagine being the son of a paper supply company, you know, 40 years ago. That would have been rough. Or being in a print business or an office supply. You know, Amazon immediately eliminated those businesses unless it was a major corporation. So markets are changing, things are happening. So your business is valuable today. You may be able to grow it and sell it and do something else as the market changes, but your family may not know how to do that. So when we think about estate planning, most people do not even have anything in place. And when I mean anything in place, I mean a will, a trust, a power of attorney, a healthcare directive. But a standard estate plan is saying, hey, I've got a will and a trust that at least has a directive for my assets. If you own a home, if you have bank accounts, making sure that your assets do not go through what's called probate. And so what I will tell you is if you do not have a plan for your money, if something were to happen to you, I can tell you there's one person who does, and it's the government. And so if you do not have a plan, the government has a plan, and it's called probate. And if you do not have your ducks in a row, that process is going to take anywhere from 9 to 24 months to get your assets out of probate. It's extremely expensive. And that is a time where you're trying to get your stuff out of the government's titling and everything. You have to pay an attorney, some family member has to handle it. And it's all just your personal assets, not having your beneficiaries set up, having a plan that, hey, if I can't make decisions, who has a power of attorney to make those decisions for me? If I'm, in a facility and there's medical care, who do I trust to make medical decisions on my behalf? A lot of people, they say, oh, well, I thought about getting a will because I could do it for free online. The difference in a will is a will tell you who your dollars or your things are supposed to go to, but a trust will tell them who, what, where, when, why. So I want somebody to get this money on this date for this reason, this is why, there's instructions behind it. So that's just the fundamental level of most people that have built anything. They need to have some type of thing beyond a will in place to protect their family. But when you own a business, now there's another layer to that, which is you need all the other personal stuff, but then you need to know, hey, my family now knows that this business isn't, my $1 million business isn't worth $250, so don't sell it for $250. Don't sell it at a fire sale. They need to know, hey, who's going to take over this business? What is the plan? There has to be a business succession plan. Do you have a key employee that can maybe buy the business? What is the plan if something happens? So it gets multidimensional. And so 3 things happen when business owners die, get disabled, whatever it could be, without an estate plan. So the first thing is the probate. So example, if somebody has a $2 million estate, they could be paid anywhere from $60,000 to $140,000 in probate costs just to get it away from the government. Jorge has a crazy thing, you might want to speak on, I won't get specific. He has a crazy thing going on right now. He got a call from somebody who just inherited $10 million from somebody they barely knew. and it's all going through probate, and the attorney is going to make $300,000 just to get it out of probate. And so it's very expensive to not have a plan and to let things go through probate. You may be saying, oh my gosh, well, I'm not worth that much money. I'm only worth $100,000. Well, put it at a relative scale. The reason, and this is just an inside scoop, but why you walk into an attorney's office and they tell you, hey, it's going to be $10,000 for a trust, is because they know they're adding up your probate costs, and they know it's going to cost $40,000. So they say, okay, we're going to save them $30,000 and still charge them $10,000. And so that's the reason that trusts are expensive, and that's why, our firm, we actually pay for software. We have an attorney relationship